let's examine it and let's look at it in perspective. We're saying that one of our major sources of revenue is oil, and we're saying that the oil price has fallen, and so that's saying that the income that we're going to use to do other services in Nigeria has fallen, and that's really very sad. But what I think is important for us as a nation, especially the people in government, is to understand that there should be that need now to consciously look for other sources of income for government, other sources of revenue, as it were, and then we should concentrate on those other sources much more than the oil. People have done it in the past, and we must use the example of the United Arab Emirates. What they have done is that despite their oil, they have been able to use industrialization to actually help their economy. I remember the first time I had a meeting with them in Dubai, as it were. What they said was that fine, there is oil, but our major source of revenue now is this free zones and the airport project. They embarked on the airline and the airport project, you know, the Emirates Dubai, when everybody wants to go in their Emirates, and they have done their airports to be free zones so that it is really attractive for a lot of people to come in. So what I'm saying in essence is that it is time for us in Nigeria now to move away from that oil boom and focus on other things that will bring revenue to the country. Honestly, you are actually talking about something that is very painful to me, because for me, I don't want to talk politics. I mean, this is not about politics. This is something that affects the lives of the average person on the street in Ogun State. Ogun State, how many years ago? 2002 thereabouts, was just a civil service state, and so the essence was to find things that would actually improve, as it were, bring the state out from that state of almost rural to an urban center. You cannot do that in the air by just having infrastructure. It was important to have projects that would drive people to other parts of the state. So that was the essence of those projects. Have Ogun State develop into an urban center, as it were, in almost all the local governments. So that's what we did with the free trade zone. And you know, the free trade zone was located in all the 3 regions of the state deliberately, so that there is no region of the state that is more developed than the other. And what we did with those free zones was to actually have a model that the people can own, such that even when we're not there, it will be such that the people can follow it through. But unfortunately, with politics and all, those free trade zones are practically not working. I'm going to start with the one in the western part of Ogun State. That's the Ogun Guandon one, which we were doing with the Chinese people, you know, and the whole essence was that they were going to bring their knowledge in free trade zone right there to Ogun State. Before we left, I think there were about 30-something, if not 40, enterprises already in that zone, and I'm not sure we have one left now. One of the things that is really important for people when they come to your state is total support from the state. That's it. You need to give them a lot of encouragement, and that's what will make them to actually wait on and stay. And so many things were happening in the axis that we had the free trade zone. For the people, the land had appreciated, and for the market women, they had more things to sell because people were living in their domain. And in terms of employment, let's even look at the Olukola free trade zone, as it were. That had a lot of tenants that had the potential to more than double the economy of Nigeria. I want you to take note that I said Nigeria. So for me, that zone was not just about Ogun State, it was about Nigeria. what happened? Everything is now sleeping. Why would you suddenly awake a giant and we have it sleeping right now? It is really a pity. The Olokola liquefied natural gas project, which is situated in that zone, is as designed, it's supposed to be the biggest in Africa. Why would we have a government that is not committed to that? I think the government in Ogun State now, if this is going to get to them, should actually wake up and see how they can continue with these zones if they want generation to actually say thank you to them, because the only way you can create jobs, because let me tell you, you can have growth in an economy but no jobs will be created. But the only way you can have jobs created is to use this model of free zones and industrialization. And when you're talking about industrialization, it has to be the one that the people can take advantage for. We went further with those free trade zones. Remember, with the Olokola free trade zone, we even had a school. The whole essence of that school was, look, we don't want our people to be spectators. Let them train, and so that they can be employable, not for them to just say they are out of the university and they're doctors. They need to be employable in those things that those gas companies and oil and services would require. What is actually funny is that government is a continuum to the extent that it pays the government in power. Recently I read an article and somebody was saying, oh, this administration in Ogun State has been able to move revenue from something to the other. And I had a good laugh. I said, oh, thank God. They don't realize that government is a continuum. You do not charge levies to trees and images that were in existence in Ogun State prior to Otumba Daniel's administration. So what they're benefiting from is that now Ogun State is open. There's so many companies, there are people living in the state. So naturally, levies coming to government, income of government would improve. Look at just that example of Nestle food that is there. That alone is good for the government to eat. So why, when they talk about this, I have a good laugh. That is because they don't understand governance. It's good for them to say that they have improved. Revenue does not grow in the air. This is because government has done something for you to be able to take advantage of. So what we're saying is that government needs to be a continuum. You need to continue where A has stopped. It should not be about politics. Make no mistake, you can have politics is in the air at the point that maybe before you inauguration and all, you can. But once you become a governor, you should do things that will be of benefit to the people of the state. For the incoming government, what I will say to them is that, look, this giant is alive. Why don't you do things that would actually make sure that, yes, he's living or she's living a giant? What we're saying is that do things that would create jobs for the people. It's good to have infrastructure development, but infrastructure development cannot be in the air. It has to be in the context of total development that will create jobs for the people of the state. What you're saying in essence is that you cannot have economics in the air without talking about politics. What we have right now is that, look, people are just playing politics. Instead of them concentrating on the economy, even if it was your predecessor that actually started zones or what have you, I think it is important to take it up as long as it's going to be of benefit to the people that voted you. I think it's the people that are not cautioning government, because if the people take total ownership of these projects and they understand the impact on them, they would actually take the government up, and government will have no excuse for not taking up those projects. It should not be about government. Right now what they're doing in Ogun State is, 20,000, if that's the workforce, you collect money and you're servicing it on the civil servants. You're still not concentrating on almost 4 million people, that is the total population of Ogun State.